Hello, beautiful bipeds of Earth. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about my performance history and how I got to this place where I am now 2.5 weeks post-op for arthritis in my right foot. I started in dance. I got really into belly dance in my 20s. And then I started in burlesque, and the transition to burlesque was a little hard for me because I have a history of very unstable rolled ankles, and having never properly rehabilitated my ankles, once I started really spending a lot of time dancing and rehearsing in heels, I did notice that I was starting to have more problems in my feet. At 30, I started doing contortion, and I'd never had really beautiful toe point. I think in part because of the problems with my ankles, it was just very tight in my feet. I spent a lot of time trying to stretch my feet and having people stretch my feet and using foot stretchers. And I do think this also had an impact on my toe, because what I really needed was stabilization in the ankle, and that would have probably helped a lot with the foot shape that I was trying to make. But the passive stretching over and over again further destabilized what was going on in my feet and my toes. I also really love to stand on the top of my toes for different tricks, and I love to roll over the tops of my toes from standing to kneeling. That was one of my favorite transitions to the floor, so that was a lot of heavy impact on the toes. The toe was, you know, you can think of it as being slightly dislocated, like it wasn't sitting correctly in the joint. It was a little bit out of whack, so that as my foot was bending, it was, you know, kind of compressing the connective tissue, maybe compressing some nerves, and creating irritation in the joint. Now, the body is very smart, and so my body decided to stop me from doing this idiotic stuff by growing two little humps of bone, one on the toe, one on the foot bone, so that when I tried to bend my toe, those two little humps of bone would press together and effectively stop me from bending my toe. And over time, those two little humps of bone got bigger and bigger, and my mobility got less and less, until right before my surgery, I could barely flex my toe at all. So it worked really well. The strategy that my body took worked great. Just not great for all the things that I want to be able to do with my foot. So that's why I need the surgery, because once you have those bone growths, there's just not much other than surgery that will take care of that. The takeaways from this, the cautionary takeaways, are: one, if you have an injury like an ankle roll, even if it seems like a small injury, even if you're young when it happens, some proper rehabilitation needs to be done in order to ensure that you are not then creating a permanent instability where other parts of the body need to compensate. Two, if you start to feel something feeling painful or like something's not moving right, and it doesn't get better over time or gets worse, go see somebody. If you don't have health insurance, then try to find someone, save up a little bit of money. Maybe you can find someone who will work with you pro bono, as I often do with performers. And three, if you are hypermobile, it is rare that a problem can be addressed simply through deep passive static stretching. So pushing into a stretch and holding it, and pushing and pushing and pushing. That is almost never the approach that we need in order to improve the mobility in a certain place. We almost always need more stability, more strength, and very minimal pushing. So I hope that was interesting and edifying, especially for those of you who are performers and are used to pushing your bodies through pain and through injury, and not doing a long, proper rehabilitation. There is a real risk to that, and I know there's always a balance between the financial pressures of living that life and the needs and health of your body. All right, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll have more updates for you next week after my next doctor's visit and x-ray. All right, thanks everybody. Mwah. Say goodbye, Rocky.